That's it. So, as I said before, we're here because we're working. Oh, yes, we're gonna work on our class number 5, which is the only class of the week number 3, right? And in this case, today we were talking about like I in the infographic of the first part of that I published on Monday. I asked you one question and I established the topic, which is suggestions and plans, right? Well, plans, of course, we know that the plans is the plans that we have for the future. Basically, it's talking about the future. But what about when we say suggestions? What's the meaning of suggestions?
Sugerencias.
Exactly. So it's basically a recommendation, right? So it's basically a recommendation. So we previously in the first level, we talk about that, no? We talk about recommendations or suggestions, and also we talk about plans. So today we're going to be talking about something that it's not new. It's not new, but the topic that we're going to use to talk about all of these structures, it is new, right? So in this case, I am going to start, before we go into this part, I am going to start asking you 2 questions. As usual, no, we always start with 2 questions. Guys, question number 1. What is the best place that you have visited? And question number 2, will you probably go back again? For example, in my case, the best place that I have visited is Mexico City. And of course, I probably will go back to Mexico City again. I went 2 years ago, and it has been the best place that I have visited, in my case. What about you guys? What is the best place that you have visited? And will you probably go back again? Go ahead, Maria, go ahead.
The best place I have visited is Spain,
Okay, what city?
in Madrid.
Madrid, okay, good.
The
Mhm.
food is delicious.
Okay, very good. And would you like to, or will you probably go back again?
Mm, Probably I go this year, but I will live in Madrid.
Okay, so you will probably move to Madrid. Move, in
Yes.
this case, of course, move es moverse, pero en este
Mm,
caso, move to a
yes.
city, it's, how do you say that? Mudarse, no? To that city too.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay, very good, Maria. Thank you so much. So she is recommending especially the food of Madrid. Any special dish that you recommend from Madrid? Paella or something like that?
Paella.
Paella, I have listened that is very famous. Okay, very good.
Jamón serrano is delicious.
Which one? Ramen?
Jamón serrano.
Ah, okay,
Jamón
jamón serrano. Yes,
serrano.
yes, yes. I have listened to, yes, it's good. Okay, Maria, thank you so much. Anybody else? What's the best place that you have visited? And will you probably go back there?
Teacher, the best place that I have visited is Tintipan Island in Choco.
What is the
And
name of the island? Of the island?
Tintipan Island
Intipan.
with tea, with tea in the begin.
Like this?
Yeah, like this, like that.
Okay.
And yeah, it's probably maybe I will go back again.
Okay, very good. Any recommendation if I go to Tintipan Island? The food, and special beach or something?
Mm, I don't know. Everything is beautiful.
Everything is beautiful.
Mhm.
Any warnings? Well, you know what is the meaning of warnings, guys? Anybody remember what is the meaning of a warning?
Maybe decline.
Okay, wait a second. Before we go into that, what is a warning? What is the meaning of warning?
Cuidados.
Yes, advertencias, no? But like that. Lorena says the weather, the climate. Okay. Why? Is it too hot? Maybe? Too humid?
Yes, it's
Como precauciones, teacher.
Yes, definitely, exactly. Precauciones, like, advertencias, right? Entonces, bueno, maybe take into account the weather because it's a little bit difficult. Okay. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Jenslis. Thank you, Lorena. Dani, ibas a hablar.
The best place I have visited is Istanbul.
Istanbul. Okay,
I
in
will
Turkey.
probably go back next year.
Okay. Very good, very good. Is there anything special that you would like to recommend? Maybe some special place or something to eat or maybe a special drink?
Yes, a food, delicious,
Like, once again, could you please read it?
a delicious food,
What is the name?
a culture different and interesting.
Okay, very good. So the food and the culture. Muy bien, very good. Any warnings? For example, the language? Like it's important that you learn Turkey, no? Or Russian or something like that. Yes or
Yes,
no?
yes,
Yes, it's important.
yes. It is very
Okay, muy bien. Very good. Thank you, Daniela. Bueno, guys, so in this first part, as you can see, I am asking simple questions, no? So the question, will you probably go back again? It's a question about the future, and it's a question which is a possibility. Since I don't know, I am not sure, I'm using the word probably. This is not, it's not for real. Yes, it's not completely certain. Here, I'm just talking about a possibility. That's why I use will. Will you probably, will you maybe go back again? What's the meaning of go back? Go back? What's the meaning of go back?
Volver.
Volver, regresar. Muy bien. Very good. Thank you, Lore. Yes, so that's one of the questions. Like, will you go? It's a simple question. And the first question is actually also very simple because it's a question which is in present perfect, right? What is the best place that you have visited, right? Guys, any ideas why I am using present perfect in this part? ¿Por qué será? Why I am using present perfect here? Any ideas?
because it is experience.
Muy bien, Danny. Excellent, because it's an experience. Of course, remember that when we use the present perfect, it's an activity that is not finished. Y ustedes dirán, profe, pero es que yo ya volví. Sí, pero when I say what's the best place that you have visited, I am talking about all your life. So when I say all your life, and when I say all your life, I said, bueno, es que su vida todavía no termina. Entonces, ¿cuál es el mejor lugar que han visitado? Porque puede que visiten otro que está mejor, right? Como todavía están vivos y todavía visitan lugares, en ese caso, I have to use present perfect. Yes, like what's the best place that you have visited in all your life? That's why I use present perfect, no? It's because, as Daniela said, we're talking about experience, right? So when I say or when I mention experiences, yes, I am going to talk about the present perfect as we know, because it's important to use it for talking about the things that I have done, but in my life, like when I say, well, I have visited many cities. I have visited many cities, right? I have visited, no sé, San Andres Island. I've visited Santa Marta. I have visited Medellin many times. I have visited Mexico City. I have visited Cuernavaca. Bueno, different cities, right? So when I say experiences in general, I use the present perfect. Simple, no? I have visited, I have gone, see? I have gone to many beaches, yes? Like I have gone to beaches in Colombia, I have gone to beaches in Dominican Republic, but so on, in general, right? But what happened if I want to specify that experience? Okay, then it's going to become the simple past, right? For example, in this case, I said, what's the best place that you have visited? And Maria told me, teacher, I have visited Madrid. Christian told me, teacher, I have visited Chocó, right? Tintipan Island. I have visited Istanbul, according to Danny, right? But if I say, yeah, pues, okay, maybe if I want to make another question more specific, then the question is not in present perfect. The question is going to be in simple past. For example, I'm going to say, Christian, when did you go? When did you go to the Tintipan Island, Chris?
I
I think he disconnected. Bueno, let's change it. So, Danny, when did you go to Istanbul, to Turkey?
I go 1 year ago.
Okay, very good. So she said, I did it 1 year ago. Guys, I have two questions. Is it here gone or when? Which
When?
one? ¿Y por qué when, Johan? What do you think?
Because the question is in past.
Okay, very good. Uno, because the question is in past. And two, because it's specific and the action is finished, right? Esa vez que Daniela fue a Estambul, ya se acabó, ella ya volvió. Por lo tanto, es una acción que ya finalizó, right? So, I went 1 year ago. Por eso dice hace un año, ¿cierto? Entonces, in that case, it's something that it's already finished. Ready? Maria, when did you go to Madrid? When did you go to Madrid?
I went visit 3 years ago.
Okay, I went to visit 3 years ago. One more time, the question is in simple past because it's about a specific moment, right? And she said, teacher, I went to visit 3 years ago. Simple past because it's specific. Maybe the first question, or the first question of an experience is in present perfect. Yes? Like, for example, no sé, Johan, have you come
Sure, sorry,
to Bogota?
teacher,
Chris?
my PC crashed for low battery.
Tranquilo, no worries, my friend. I am going to continue with one question and I am going to ask you something later. Don't worry.
Okay.
So, Johan, have you
Teacher,
come to Bogota?
teacher, yes, I have.
Yes, I have. So the first question is in present perfect because I just want to know in all his life. Yes, like any time in his life, have you come to Bogota? Yes, I have. The next question that I'm going to ask, then is not going to be anymore in present perfect, right? The first question is, ¿alguna vez has venido? Has venido, present perfect. After that, then the next questions, when he say yes, are going to be in simple past. ¿Te gustó? Ya no va a ser te ha gustado, sino te gustó, lo que es simple past. So, how would you like to make the question? Oye, Johan, ¿te gustó? ¿Cómo le podríamos preguntar a Johan? ¿Te gustó Bogotá? Simple past, no? Of course.
Did you like Bogota?
Perfect, my friend. So, did you like it? Right? Because, of course, is in simple past. So, did you like it, mate?
Yes, I did.
Okay, very good. So even the auxiliary changes, no? The first question that was with present perfect, he answered, yes, I have. Now that I asked with simple past, then he says, yes, I did. So it's completely different, right? But that's it. So in that case, guys, there is a difference between present perfect and simple past, no? And in this case, when we talk about experiences, about trips, about traveling, about around the world, to Europe, to Asia, to North America, or whatever, well, we can use these two structures, no? Present perfect and simple past, in order to describe experience. When we talk about traveling, cuando hablamos de viajes, a lot of times we're talking, no, imagínense que yo estaba en tal lado. So I'm using simple past and present perfect, ¿no? Como lo vimos en la primera. Bueno, so basically that's the thing. Now the second question was, will you probably go back again? So we have a little bit of the future, no? I am going to complement this question asking you another thing. Let me erase this part. Okay, here, right? So, guys, the question is so simple. I would like to know, where will you probably travel in your next vacations? Do you have plans? Do you have desires? No? Where will you probably travel in your next vacations? So,
Teacher, I will probably travel to San Andres.
good. Very good. So he will probably travel to San Andres. Beautiful island. Excellent. Anybody else? Where will you probably travel on your next vacations?
I will probably travel to Russia.
Okay, very good. So you will probably go back to Russia. Excellent. But just for vacation.
No,
For living definitely there.
yes.
Okay, okay. Okay, Danny, thank you so much. Anybody else? Where will you probably travel on your next vacations? No, no plans. Well, so in this case, oh, Milena, tell me.
Maybe I will travel to Argentina.
Okay, maybe we should travel to Argentina. Argentina, right?
Argentina.
Argentina, very good. Excellent. No? So in that case, guys, when you use, it's a possibility, right? So we will, right? But what about if it's something that is completely determined, which I say, okay, no, I already know that I will do that in the future when it's certain. I don't use will. What do I have to use if I know that it's something sure?
Going to?
Exactly, Maria, very good. So does anybody have plans, certain plans for your next vacations? Do you know exactly what you're going to go on your next vacations?
Yes, I'm going to travel la mesa.
Okay, very good. I'm going to travel to La Mesa, that's Cundinamarca.
Yes.
Okay, so La Mesa, Cundinamarca. That's it. Thank you, Mari. That's it. Very good. Anybody else? Do you know exactly what you're going to do on your next vacations? No, nobody? Well, in my case, for example, I know that I'm going to visit a beach. I don't know exactly which one. I don't know if it's here in Colombia. I don't know where, but I know that I'm going to visit a beach. So it's better that I prepare my beach outfit, no? So it's important, right? Well, guys, so far we know that for talking about traveling trips, we can use, I mean, we can talk, look into the future and talk about the plans that we have using will or going to. And of course, you know that we can use the other expressions such as, well, we can use will and going to. Going to is certain, will, it's a possibility. But you know that we can also use the other expressions like plan to, would like to, we all have seen these expressions. Plan to, want to, would like to. We're talking about the future, no? So when we talk about these trips, we said, I would like to know Italy. I would love to visit China. I don't know, right? Or Depending what is your intention, you can use the other expression, like I plan to visit Madrid again. I plan to visit the Amazon. I hope to visit Argentina as Milena, no? Maybe it's a possibility, so I hope to visit Argentina, right? So when we talk about traveling, it's pretty important that we can describe it. The past trips, present perfect, simple past, past continuous, right? The past trips, and also it's important that we can describe the future trips, no? I would like to blah, blah, blah. I plan to do this. I would like to do this, right? But at the same time, we're going to have another part which is really important. And it's this part of the recommendation and the plans, no? Guys, let's see. Christian, please, my friend, help me to read this question that we have right here.
Okay. According to their outfit, where should they travel?
Excellent, Mike. So we have three people. We have the girl number 1, the girl number 2, and the guy number 3, right? Tell me, where should they travel according to their outfit? What is the meaning of outfit? Do you know?
Vestuario.
Yeah, exactly. The clothes, no, the clothes that they have. So, for example, this woman, she's kind of exotic with a lot of like very specific outfit, no? This girl is prepared for, she has a backpack and she has like climbing clothes. This guy is in flip-flops. What was the meaning of flip-flops?
Chanclas.
Chanclas. So he's in flip-flops and in shorts and in shirt. Probably they don't go to the same place, no? So the question is pretty simple. Where should they travel? As a recommendation, where should they travel, guys?
Teacher, maybe the first, the woman, she should travel to Peru.
Okay, she should travel to Peru. Okay, that's good idea, yes.
The
And
second person, maybe she should travel to Manizales.
okay, very good. She should travel to Manizales, very good. And the
Um,
last guy.
the last, he should travel to San Andres.
Yeah, actually, that's a recommendation for you, no? If you're going to try to San Andres, flip-flops, shorts, shirts. Muy bien, very good. So he should travel. He should travel or he should go to San Andres. Muy bien. Anybody else has a different recommendation? Like you say, no, number 2 should go to other different place?
Me, teacher.
Chris?
Maybe the first woman should travel to the India.
I was thinking the same. Yeah, this is kind of indigenous native.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that she should travel to. She should travel or she should go to India. Very good.
The second woman should travel to the Mount Everest, maybe.
Okay, very good. So she should, in that case, I'm gonna use the verb climb, climb, which is
Okay.
escalar, right? So she should climb the Everest. It's a possibility, why not? Okay. Anybody, anything else, Chris? The last one?
The third person should travel to the Mayan Riviera.
Okay, very good. That's in Mexico, right? So to the
Yes.
Mayan Riviera. Good. Listo, my friend. Very good. Alexandra, my dear.
Maybe number 1, she should travel to Philippines. And number 2, she should travel to Alaska. And
Okay.
to travel to Cartagena.
Okay, very good. Yeah. So basically, in that case, the three people agree. Johan, Christian, and Alexandra, they agree that the first person should go to somewhere which is kind of exotic, no? Like kind of a different culture, similar to India, probably to Turkey, no? But why not, right? Yeah, like something which has like a lot of native cultures, right? The second person should go to somewhere which is like mountainous, the Everest, what Alexandra said, I forgot, Manizales or
Alaska is okay.
Alaska. Good, very good, excellent, right? So it's great. Something which is kind of cold, which is like for climbing, right? And the third person should go to some place which is hot. Cartagena, San Andres, the Mayan Riviera. So good. In this case, guys, we cannot decide where they are going to go because it's their plans. Probably we can guess, no? We would say that he will probably go to a beach, that she will probably go to a forest or to a mountain, and that she will probably go to an exotic culture country. Yes, that could be. But we are just giving recommendations. So when we talk about traveling or trips, it's important that we mention the recommendations that we have in different places. For example, Maria is not here. No, she left. Daniela, we're going to talk to Daniela. Dani, if we are in Turkey, in Istanbul, what is one recommendation that you think it's really important for the people? What would you recommend the person who wants to go to Istanbul?
Mm, you should mm, know English.
Important, you should know, speak English. Okay, that's a good idea. Thank you. Anything which is like a warning, like you say, like, mejor que no hagas esto, like a warning, something that it's a warning.
Yes. There are religion. This is very important for
Exactly.
him.
Yes, exactly, because they are there are a lot of different religions. There is Muslims, there are Christians, there are, so it's important that you be careful with religion, right? Because that's really important for them, right? With religion. Okay. And Daniela, in terms of papers, of documents, what's the obligation? What is the mandatory document that you have? Do you need visa? Only the passport?
Only passport.
Only a passport. But the passport is mandatory, right?
Yes.
Yes, good, very good. What's the meaning of mandatory, guys? Mandatory?
Obligatorio.
Obligatorio, Chris. Thank you so much. So, guys, in this case, when we're talking about traveling, about a part of speaking about present perfect experiences and plans, we're going to use the modal verbs. But we're going to use the modal verbs for specific purposes, right? So, for example, wait a second. The modal verbs, which are not mandatory, the ones that are for suggestions, it means for recommendations. We have three. Well, we have more, but basically these three. Should, which means debería, ought to, which also means debería, but in a different context, and had better, which is like será mejor que. Okay, so should, it's a recommendation when we have something which is a good idea. I said, of course, you should know English. Yes, no es obligatorio, pero deberías porque es una buena idea, right? Hmm? O2, which is also recommendation, it's more of a moral recommendation, no? This O2, it's used for talking about moral advice. You know, when I say, for example, like, pues, you ought to be, no, or you ought to respect the religion of the people. It is not affecting me in any way, but it's a moral recommendation, right? So you ought to respect the the religion of the people, or you ought to respect the beliefs of the people, las creencias, or the culture. It's not a good idea. I mean, it's independently of being good or bad idea. It's just because it's a moral recommendation, right? And finally, we have had better. Had better, it's a warning. No, guys, a warning, as I said, it's a recommendation that it has a negative consequence implied. It means that it's a recommendation, but if you don't follow that recommendation, there is going to be a negative consequence. Example, you had better not make comments about Muslims, for example. It's a recommendation that if you don't follow, possibly you are going to have problems. No, so when I say had better, is the strongest recommendation. Is almost as an obligation or prohibition. Yes, because when I say had better, it's a important, very strong recommendation. Guys, all of these are modal verbs. It means that after the expression, there is always a verb in the infinitive form, o sea, in the basic form, right? You should go, you ought to respect, you had better do, you had better tell. So always after the modal verb, there is going to be a verb in the infinitive form. Got it? Question, guys. What do you suggest? What did you suggest to foreigners in Colombia? Recently, there have been a lot of news, creepy news about foreigners in Colombia. So, what do you suggest to foreigners in Colombia?
No kill the woman.
Important, right? So, they had better respect the women's life in Colombia, right? Don't kill them, don't mistreat them, you know. Of course, there are a lot of different recommendations about it. Thank you, Johan. What else? What do you suggest to foreigners in Colombia? Maybe something with should, maybe something with had better.
Teacher, they should take care of types, maybe.
They should take care of.
Types.
What do you mean by types?
Ladrones.
Okay, very good. They should be careful of thieves.
Thieves. Okay.
Excellent, very well. They should be careful of everything, not thieves, criminals, guerrilla, well, all a lot of different things. But yes, muy bien, they should be careful. It's important that they should be careful. Anything else? Do you think speak Spanish correctly? It's important or not? Así como les piden a ustedes hablar inglés, do you think that for them speaking Spanish, it's a good idea or not?
Teacher, they should speak Spanish.
Ok, Johan dice, they should speak Spanish, como una buena idea. Dani, what do you think?
Had better they now Spanish.
Okay, they had better know Spanish because, well, of course, when I say they should, it's also correct, no? But for Daniela, it's more important. No solo es una recomendación normal, es una advertencia. O sea, mejor que aprendan español. Maybe they can have problems if they don't know Spanish, no? They can be tricked, pues puede que engañar, estafar, whatever, no? So if they don't know the language correct. So probably I can say it as a recommendation, they should, or probably something more moral, no? Like, for example, I think that ought to, they ought to take care of natural resources here in the country. You know, because in, for example, United States, they are used to spill and spend and waste a lot of water and a lot of plastic and all of that. But here we're trying not to do that. So they ought to take care of natural resources, no, because they ought to they ought to take care of the environment. Yes, it's a moral recommendation. Or something which is even stronger with had better, no? Guys, if it's a negative recommendation, for example, no deberían o será mejor que no hagan tal cosa, it's simply using the not after the modal verb. O sea, should not, ought not to, right? Or here, had better not. Okay, if it's a negative sentence. They had better not mistreat Colombian women, for example, no? Or they should not, no sé, offend our cultures, for example, right? So it's pretty simple to use this model. Should, ought to, had better.
Chair,
Yes, Johan.
for example, with had better is necessary always to say not with had better.
No, not
Yeah.
necessarily. You can say
No.
you had better.
Okay.
It's you had better, and then the verb. Example, no say what you said about the foreigners with women. So they, it's not you, it's they had better respect women here, Colombia. Bueno, women in all the world, but especially in this case, they had better respect Colombian women, ¿no? Y usas had better y luego el verbo sin necesidad de usar to, right?
Thanks.
This domain, very good, excellent. So all of this are just for suggestions, recommendations. It's not mandatory, it's simply a good idea, right? Then, on the other hand, when we talk about things which are mandatory, then we're going to have other different three modal verbs, which are must, had to, and need. No? Must, it's an obligation. It means deber, but it's more like an obligation of a manual, a rule, a constitution, you know, something written like a document that establish an obligation. Different from that, when I use have to, it's more because another person gives me that responsibility, gives me that obligation. The person says, hey, you have to be punctual here at no sé qué. Okay, that's the obligation of my boss. So it's better to use have to. When I use must, it's a little bit more formal and also it's more related to document obligations. Ready? And need to, which is a necessity, is not an obligation. No, it's not precisely mandatory, but it's a necessity. It's going to be like when I think, when I perceive that something is necessary for me. Oh my God, I need to practice more, for example. It's not exactly an obligation, no es exactamente una obligación, but it's something that it's necessary. Ready? So in that case, must, it's obligation. Have to is also obligation. In that case, deber, tener que. And I need to, it means necesitar, right? So depending on the intention, again, I am going to use to, well, in that case, have and need, they have the preposition to. Must, no. Should, tampoco. Y had better, tampoco. They don't need to. And then the verb in infinitive, no? Then, for example, Daniela told us, teacher, the passport is mandatory. El pasaporte es obligatorio. Ah, okay. So Colombians must have passport. Colombians must have passport to go to Turkey. It's mandatory. Yes. And for example, no sé, let's say in Saudi Arabia, Saudi Arabia. Women have to, pardon, sorry. Women have to wear, I forgot the name of that thing on the face. Do you remember what's the name, the thing?
Hijab.
That's it. Thank you. They have to wear the hijab, right? Of course, it's written like in some document, very old document, but it's more because the other guys or the politicians or the other people tell them like, you have to do that, right? So that's more like an obligation. And as I said, as they say, for example, if we go to Turkey, we need to speak English because Turkish is more difficult, no? Well, if you speak Turkish, good for you, you should. But if not, you need to speak English, no? So it's something that it's kind of necessary. Ready? So guys, depending the situation or depending your intention, it's a good idea to use modal verbs, but every single modal verb, it's going to have a specific use, right? Some of them for obligations of some kind, others for other kind of obligations, others for suggestions, others for warnings, right? Guys, what do you think that foreigners, like, what are foreigners' obligations here in the country? What are foreigners' obligations here in the country?
Foreigners must take a shower.
I think that's necessary, but it's not mandatory. Because remember, must, it's written in one document. For example, foreigners must have passport and ID. But take a shower, which is important, it's more like a
Okay,
necessity.
okay.
Ready? Muy bien, very good, excellent. Any other? Do you have any other?
Foreigners need to have some cash to travel in Colombia.
I was going to write that. Thank you, Chris. Yes, of course, they need to have some cash. So I think that it's mandatory because they, what do you think? Change their currency. Their currency, it's like su moneda, no? 2 pesos. Do you think that it's written in a document or it's an obligation more like because the people tell them?
Maybe an obligation
Yeah,
that people.
exactly. Exactly, Chris. So in that case, we would say that they have to change, or más bien exchange, right? They have to exchange their currency to pesos, right? So guys, depending on your intention, as I said, the modal verbs are going to help me to describe, to describe the different kinds of situations, no? Like if it's obligation, if it's a suggestion, if it's something optional, if it's something that I think it's necessary, but is not completely determined, right? So the modal verbs are going to help me to do that. Ready? Guys, imagine that you are tour guides. Imagine that you are tour guides, right? So you are guiding a group of tourists in your city. Christian is guiding a group of tourists here in Bogota. Johan is guiding a group of tourists there in Medellin. So you're guiding a group of tourists. Yes. So you're telling them some recommendations. You're giving them some important information about the city. Think on one suggestion. Think in one warning. Wait. One warning. And please think in one obligation, especially in your city. Not in all Colombia, but especially in your city. For example, if you're in Cartagena, you said, hey, it's important that you must, well, no, you need to check the bills information. You know, the bills information, it means información de las cuentas, no? The bills info before paying, because then it's a mojarra for 600,000 pesos, no? So that's not. So it's important. You need to. Ready? So tell them one suggestion, one warning, and one obligation, guys. Go ahead. Think for a second, analyze the information. Okay, when you're ready, I'm ready, okay? So when you're ready, just open your microphone and start talking.
In my city, they should visit the Chorro de Quevedo.
Important. That's a good recommendation. They should visit El Chorro, right? Good. Excellent. Mhm. What about Esteban? What about Brian? You haven't participated so much. Great.
Featuring they should go to the Bolivar Plaza.
Okay, very good. They should visit the Bolivar Square. You know, square, it means plaza.
Okay.
So
And a warning, mm, they have to be careful with their belongings, maybe.
excellent, good. Have to, it's like an obligation, no? Because it's like una obligación tiene que, but it's had better. That's the warning.
After. Okay.
So they had better be careful with their belongings. Muy bien, con sus pertenencias. Very good, Christian. And
I don't know.
for the obligation, no idea.
No, I'm thinking.
Okay, no problem, don't worry. Anybody else? Any warning, any suggestion, any obligation in your cities, guys?
Teacher, for example, they should transport in metro or easy for all.
Okay, so they should use the metro.
Okay.
Yes, they should use metro for transporting.
Okay. Warning. They had better not walk with cell phone outside.
Muy bien, very good. They had better not walk with cell phone unless they are like in Province or something like that, maybe, but in other place, kind of dangerous.
Okay,
Good.
okay, yes.
Mhm.
They must receive droga.
Ah, well, that's a prohibition, and in that case, is they must not. It's negative, no? So ellos no deben,
Okay,
they
must
must
not.
not. Uh-huh. Receive drugs. Okay, very good. Thank you, Johan. Muy bien. That's great.
Teacher,
Yes.
an obligation maybe can be they have to check the prices carefully. I don't know.
Yes, but that is more like kind of warning. It's also like a warning because it's like, oye, es mejor que revises los precios bien, right? Something
Okay.
that is mandatory here, it's for example, Danny or Christian who live here in Bogota, or Milena, I think you also live here in Bogota. What is necessary to take Transmilenio or SIPT or any Metrocable? What is necessary?
They must pay to transportation.
Okay, but how do they pay?
Um,
With a card?
With a card, exactly. So in many cities of the world, in Mexico, in Medellin, also with the little cards for the metro, no? So they must or they have to, well, because must is not because it's not written in the Constitution that they have to have the card, but they have to have the what is the name? Tujave card? Yes, is the
Yes.
exactly. So they must have or they have to have better the Tujave card, which is necessary for Transmilenio, is necessary for SATP, is necessary for Metrocable, is necessary. Yes, so that is an obligation in a city. Ready? And of course, obligation they have to have, they must, in that case, that's necessary. They must have ID at all times. What's mean of at all times?
todo el tiempo.
Todo el tiempo, muy bien, very good. So they must carry the ID at all times. That's necessary. Ready? Bueno, muy bien, guys. So basically, that's the idea of the modal verbs. Yes, used in this case for talking about trips, traveling. Ready? Wait a second. Somebody wrote in the chat a suggestion. You must eat sancocho. Okay, buddy, but if you said must, it's an obligation. Como es una recomendación, so it's with should. They should try or they should eat sancocho. Well, I would say that they should try sancocho, they should try ajiaco, they should try bandeja paisa. A lot, not different ones. Muy bien, very good,
Teacher,
guys.
but sancocho is obligation.
Okay, very good. If you say like that, that's a must, you know. So if you said no, pero si es obligatorio, so okay, entonces ahí sí, that they must eat sancocho. Very good. ¿Listo? Guys, so the idea of this class it was like showing you how many different parts we have to use when we are talking about one simple topic as traveling, one simple topic, but we have a lot of different possibilities. We can talk about the future plans of traveling with will, with going to, with plan to, with no sé qué. We can talk about the past experiences of traveling with have gone, have visited, with when, with I was going, no, you know, past simple, past continuous, present perfect, right? And we can talk a lot about the different recommendations, obligations, suggestions of trips using the modal verbs, right? So it's important, as I said before, and I am going to repeat this in almost every class, it's important that we start managing a combination of topics focused in one communicative topic. In this case, talking about traveling, but it can be applied to anything. No? So the recommendations can be about learning English, can be about studying a career, can be about living in Colombia, can be about studying no sé qué, can be about love relationships, can be about anything. The important thing is that you can apply those knowledge into every single topic. Listo, guys? Any questions over here, difficulties, problems, anything that is not clear, or it's everything clear?
Here.
All good. Yes. Listo, very good. Bueno, so just I invite Esteban, Brian, Mile, que yo sé que participa a veces, Alexa, Lore. Practice more often, don't worry. Just let out the fear. No les dé miedo, don't worry. Practice, practice, practice. Activen el micrófono and whatever you want to say, just say it, okay? Just practice. Or in the chat, if you want in the chat, it's also possible. ¿Listo? Guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for tonight's class. No se les olvide que we have conversation club tomorrow, right? So a lot of people program the conversation club for tomorrow. So just see you tomorrow at 7. Tomorrow is at 7. Don't forget about it. Ready? And of course, tomorrow is a conversation club. So tomorrow we are going to talk. Ready? So guys, see you tomorrow. Have a good night. That's it. Sleep tight.
Have a good one.
Thanks, teacher.
Bye.
Good night.
Goodbye, Susan.
Hey, teacher,
Bye,
thanks.
teacher.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, teacher.
Goodbye. Goodbye, Alexa. See you later.